स्टार्ट हो गई।
Okay, sir. Respected Dr. Prakash Ranjan sir, Assistant Professor, Indian Institute of Information Technology, Bhagalpur, and speaker of today's event, Dr. H.C. Chobe sir, Coordinator TechCube 3, RGPV Bhopal, Shri Shyam Rathore sir, Chairman Truva Group of Institute Bhopal, Professor Neha Srivastav, Head EC and Electrical Department and Coordinator of this event, faculty members, staff, and students from various RGPV affiliated colleges. A hearty good morning to all of you. I, Abhishek Agvekar, Assistant Professor, Electronics and Communication Engineering, Truba Group of Institute, feel privileged to welcome you all in the one-day webinar on metamaterials and its application in the field of microwave, organized by Truba Institute of Engineering and Information Technology in association with Rajiv Gandhi Pradyogiki Vishwavidyalaya under TechCube 3. Trupa Group of Institute is well-known name in the field of technical education from last 21 years. Trupa Group also enhancement of technical knowledge of the faculty member and students by organizing various workshops by the eminent speakers from industry as well as from the technical education. Following the legacy of lighting lamp in technical education, we are organizing this event today. I would like to invite Professor Neha Srivastav, Head of the Department EC and EX, to deliver the welcome address.
Thank you, Abhishek. Good morning, everyone. Speaker of today's event, Dr. Prakash Ranjan from Triple IT Bhagalpur, Shri Shyam Rathore sir, Chairman Truba Group, Dr. S.C. Chobe, Coordinator TechCube 3 RGPV Bhopal, faculty, staff, and students of distinguished institutes. On behalf of Truba Group of Institutes, it's my first and foremost duty to welcome all our guests, faculty members, and students of various institutes for participating in this webinar on the topic metamaterials and its applications in the field of microwave. The main objective of conducting this webinar is to make the students and faculty members acquainted with the latest technological advancement in the field of metamaterials. You will also become familiar with the unique properties of metamaterials, especially negative index materials and their applications. These properties have allowed emerging applications, concepts, and devices to be developed over the most recent couple of years. The metamaterial multilayer concept, in conjunction with transformation optic principles, to accelerating applications in the microwave regime. Discovering new physics is undoubtedly necessary for all kinds of metamaterials, but the major and emerging task for microwave materials are engineering applications. In the future, microwave materials will not only represent a material or device, but also an intelligent system or real-time information processor. I'm sure that all of you will be benefited by this program and definitely learn something innovative which will help you in better way. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. RGPV TechCube 3 is targeted to improve the quality of technical education in approximately 180 affiliated engineering institutes across Madhya Pradesh by introducing enable mechanism for faculty empowerment, student learning enhancement, industrialization, and synergetic efforts of all stakeholders. I would like to invite Dr. S.C. Chobe sir, Coordinator TechCube 3 RGPV, to say few words.
Thank you, Abhishek. Sri Shyam Rathore ji, Chairman of Institute. Sri Dr. Prakash Ranjan ji, expert of the day, and he's from Indian Institute of IIT Bhagalpur. Abhishek ji, Neha Srivastav ji. It's a pleasure for me that TIT group of Truba Group of Institutions is organizing a large number of programs, and this is directly benefiting to the students and faculty members. And hope by the end of this TechCube 3 project, faculty and students will come out with some skill, and this is not going to end. The skill which they have gained, they will act as they will be a resource person of the institute, where the same will be passed to the teachers and students in time to come. What teachers, faculty have learned during these 3 months, particularly 3 months, 4 months, is really very, very significant for them, and the kind of contact they have developed. Just like Dr. Prakash Ranjan is with us today, more number of and other experts also came on the same platform, and now we have got a pool of experts. And anytime when we need to contact with some experts, now you have got a plethora of the experts. So this is what TechCube, objective of the TechCube is, that let every institute to empower, not confined to their Bhopal or their own city or state, but nationally and internationally that institute be recognized. Once once an expert you are sharing, you are inviting some experts, that expert is now known to you and you are known to them. And now Indian Institute of IT, whenever you are talking about this Bhagalpur, or Prakash Ranjan ji is talking, so definitely he will be remembering you that sometimes you had visited on this platform to the Madhya Pradesh. So that is also a very great advantage to RGPV. So for RGPV also at the very, very beginning stage, and we want to develop, establish RGPV as a center of excellence, or a center of research hub, where we can establish a collaboration with the national and international experts. So now we have got a number of experts, and we are also inviting the professors and faculty from premier institutions like IT centers and IITs. They are interacting with our research scholars. And we have also, very soon we will be inviting the particularly PG students and interacting with them. So sometimes, Dr. Prakash Ranjan ji, you will be interacting with our PG students, and let sometimes some kind of encouragement and motivation they will get, that because they are totally free to ask any questions. So that liberty they enjoy when they will be talking to you. So that is why again after 15th of this September, we are going to organize a number of programs where we will be inviting our PG students, and you said that these PG students are about the faculty. Sometimes they will be the faculty members, so they need also get empowered, so that our generations to whom they are going to interact or teaching, they must be empowered. So this is a very good opportunity. They are doing work. You have come to talk on the metamaterials, and metamaterials, I think it has got a huge application in antennas, and in fact the microwave applications, you are talking about the microwave application in microwave. I hope with this all zeal and spirit, Tribhuvan Group of Institutions will continue its journey, academic journey, with all excellence, and let RGPV will be proud of Tribhuvan Group of Institutions, that yes, very close to the RGPV, almost at the mouth of the RGPV, one of the institute who has gained this national and international prize. Thank you, Sri Rathore ji. Always you are present. I can see that you are almost academic interest, and that is why this your institute is coming up with all national level. It is coming up with this research, and faculty members are really very, very enthusiastic. All faculty members visiting to our TechCube office, and in fact they are taking advantage of TechCube 3. But after TechCube 3, again we have to go with the same pace that we have to see. So thank you, Neha ji and Abhishek, and particularly Dr. Prakash Ranjan ji, that you have spared your time. And very soon we will be meeting at another RGP platform. Thank you. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you. Okay. Over to you. Okay.
Thank you, sir. I would like to invite Shri Shyam Rathore, sir, Chairman, Tribhuvan Group of Institute, to inspire us with few words.
Thank you, Abhishek. Good afternoon, everyone. Respected Chobe
Good
sir,
afternoon, sir.
thank you very much for your encouragement words. Because of that only, all our team and the faculty members are working very hard and doing their best during this COVID situation. And I'm happy that we are using this technology and the efforts and the opportunities given by RGPV to us. And I especially welcome Prakash ji for coming and sparing his time. And I think every student and the faculty will be benefited by his words of wisdom. Thank you very much. Once again, I welcome you in the Truba Institute. Thank you very much for joining and giving us your appropriate time. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Metamaterials are artificial composite materials usually constructed from sub-wavelength size periodic structures which are called as meta-atoms or unit cells. They attain their properties from unit cells rather than chemical composition and exhibits effective material properties. Dr. Prakash Ranjan, our speaker for today's event, has done his BTech from Anna University, Chennai, MTech from YMCA University, Faridabad, and PhD from NIT Jamshedpur. Dr. Ranjan is a member of IEEE and has published 4 international papers in SCI journals, 2 papers in Scopus journals, and 3 book chapters. He also attended 5 international conferences. He has also patented a zeroth order resonator antenna using slotted metamaterial structure. His area of interests are metasurfaces, metamaterial observers, multilayer observers, evolutionary algorithms. So, without any delay further, I would like to invite Dr. Prakash Ranjan to deliver his lecture.
Am I audible to everyone? Okay. So, good morning. Good morning to everyone present here. It's my privilege and honor to be an expert in this webinar. First of all, I would like to give my sincere gratitude to Chobe sir and Rathore sir for inviting me for this webinar. And I hope your words of inspiration will be always with us and will always encourage us to move forward in our respective fields. So I would like to start my presentation with these words. So myself, Dr. Prakash Ranjan here, I am working as assistant professor in the EC department at Indian Institute of Information Technology, Bhagalpur. Today we are going to have a discussion on metamaterial and its application in the field of microwave domain. So let's just begin with a little bit introduction about my institute, that IIIT Bhagalpur. We are blessed to have our director, Professor Arvind Chobe. He always encourages us to share your knowledge, and basically he always used to say that if you share your knowledge, then only you will able to increase your knowledge. And very recently, you might have heard this IIIT Bhagalpur about the COVID detection software related news. It is about to get the certifications. So we are working on the software that IIIT Bhagalpur is about to have a collaboration with Siemens Technology, and it is a project of 2,000 crore. And in very soon you will find out that every government medical colleges will have a digital X-ray machines, and that X-ray machine not only will take your chest X-ray, but with the same X-ray report he will able to tell you whether the patient is suffering from the COVID or not. So till now what we have achieved is up to 96% of accuracy in the detection of COVID-19. So we have surpasses already the antigen test. We are claiming to next part with the PCR test. So very soon we will able to come, we will able to see the flashing news about that. Even very recently, the respected Honorable MHRD Minister has also tweeted regarding the same thing, and he has congratulated our team. So once again, I would like to say our thanks to my beloved director, IIIT Bhagalpur, Professor Arvind Chaube. He is not only a director of IIIT Bhagalpur, but he is also my PhD guide. Next, I would like to say a little bit about the Bhagalpur city. The Bhagalpur city is very much famous about its silk. And if you do a little bit of Google, you will find out that Bhagalpur Bhagalpur silks are very much famous, and its silk sarees are especially, and other things are very famous. So you can purchase all in that also. It is also nearby the Ascent Nalanda University. So it is very beautiful city. It is, and IIIT Bhagalpur is just bank of the river of the Ganga. So the campus what we are having at IIIT Bhagalpur is a totally greenish campus. Around 650 trees, mango trees are there. So you can imagine how much greenish campus we are having. So I would like to welcome everyone, especially Radhaur sir and my friends Neha and Abhishek, to come. Please come here and have a visit. We will have a great time here. So here we are having this webinar team for today. I would like to say sir, thanks to Shyam sir, Rajiv sir, and I would like to say also thanks to my colleague and friends Meha. She is used to call me and used to have a lot of discussion. I do have also disturbed her lot of times for how to get a properly prepared time for that. So thanks for bearing me. So let's begin with the one more thing I would like to tell you regarding the Truba. As I told you earlier, I have done my PhD from NIT Jamshedpur. And at Jamshedpur, you will be happy to hear that it is now told as it is a mini Truba. The reason is lot of your faculties are nowadays doing PhD from NIT Jamshedpur. You start from Chetan Burde. He's now he's my just like his elder brother, younger brother, and very soon he is going to join the IIIT Bhagalpur itself. So he might be very shy to share these ideas to all of you guys, but I'm just disclosing these things that he has already almost submitted his PhD thesis, and very soon he is going to join the IIIT Bhagalpur as a faculty. Moreover, we are having Vishal. We are having, I used to have Sunil is there, Nikhil Patedia is there. I used to talk with Anutullah sir, Kaptan Singh ji. So, these names are always with me, and I'm always having interaction with them. So now the Jamshedpur, I tell you, they everywhere they are waiting. Okay, this year Sunil has came, Vishal has came. So okay, next year always definitely there will be some people who is associated with the Truba, and he will join NIT Jamshedpur. I don't know how it is happening. There must be some fishy things are going on there in NIT Jamshedpur. The Chetan and Vishal is also involved there, especially Chetan. I know he is doing something fishy, but I don't know how he is managing. But every year he used to brought at least one faculty member from Truba. So it's just my with these words. So I'm just very much familiar with the Truba. I will be happy if I will get a chance to visit the Truba institutions. So let's with these words, let's start our session. First of all, I would like to request my students and everyone to be interactive. If you feel any problem anywhere, you just raise your question. I will be very much happy to reply you. As Chaubey sir told earlier also, the session must be interactive, especially the PG students. You should always try to extract the emerging area of research so that you can pursue that field and move forward in that research. So in the presentation also I would like to brought some emerging areas which are very much interesting. and which will always attract you guys to work on the domain. So let's begin our discussion today. So I would like to start with the spectrum, and why does this spectrum is so important to us? The reason is the spectrum, which is defined by the different frequencies, the range of frequencies, or the bandwidth, you would say. Basically, it's defined the applications. Say, for example, the nature has made such way that the visible spectrum, right? That particular range of frequency is only 0.7 to 0.4 micrometer. That range only is responsible for all of the visibility for our eyes. So because of this, nature of a spectrum, this spectrum is very much important. Now, if you look at this frequency spectrum, start from radio up to the gamma rays, after the visible spectrum, you are having ultraviolet, X-ray. These are the harmful rays. Okay, so we have to use some another band so that it should not harm to our health, and we can use that band also. So among them, the microwave, I would say, is very much popular for our applications, especially mobile, radio, everything, all of your communications and wireless communication especially. And the reason why it is microwave is so much popular, the reason is if you want to have a communication with your Chandrayaan, say for example, if you choose other frequency than the microwave, you will not have a proper communication with the Chandrayaan. The reason is you are having ionosphere in our atmosphere which reflect the frequency below the microwave, and that's why we cannot use the radio waves for having a communication with the your Chandrayaan. You need to have a microwave communication. Moreover, it reduces your antenna size, because if you look at any antenna from basic principle of resonating structure, that resonating structures are always in the range of lambda. Okay. So if you go for higher frequency, obviously you are having less size lambda, and that's why your antenna size will be less. So overall, the compactness you will achieve in your satellite, you will have a proper communication without any wastage of energy through your ionosphere, and that is why this microwave is very much popular and used these days for communication. You can just name it. You just look around yourself. You find microwave everywhere in and around you. Second thing, I would like to just have a brief discussion about the resonance. So the resonance is something at that particular point the system behave abnormally. You can just have an example of a swing where a child is sitting and your friend is pushing him. So you can see at a point, if you look at the plot, it's the displacement and phase, right, of driving force. You will find out that it is having a 90 degree at a point it is phase difference of 90 degree. This graph will tell you there is an abnormal behavior at a particular frequencies. If your friend is pushing with a particular frequency, that lead into its resonance. At particular resonance, it behave abnormally other than the what is to be. So this shows every system had its own natural frequency. It is your work to energize the system with that particular frequency, and obviously that lead into the abnormal behavior of the system, and that might lead into the radiation. So that is how basically people work in the field of microwave, and I would say nowadays terahertz and all. So let's begin with the core topic of our today discussion, that is the metamaterials. As we have listened earlier that metamaterials are basically made up of meta words. The meta word is a Greek word and it means beyond. So the metamaterial implies a material which is beyond our reach. So if you look around your yourself, you will find out that you have lot of materials, okay, and if you try to characterize means you have to analyze its property, then you can place that your material in 4 categories. So what we can do, we just have a simple experiment. What we are going to do is we are going to divide available material in 4 types. We are making types based on permeability and permittivity. So we can just remember our 10+2 physics. There we can say the force, electric force. If we talk about electric force, the electric force between 2 charges are depend upon the charge quantity as well as the medium in which charge is placed. That medium parameter is defined by permittivity, right? And that is why we used to have 1/4 pi epsilon naught epsilon r. This epsilon r is nothing but relative permittivity, and q1 q2 by r square. Remember this, apart from the distance, the charges, there is a one term that permittivity basically defines the medium, and that is why you can have different forces acting on the same charges if you change the medium. So I would say this permittivity for electric charge and permeability for magnetic fields, these are the quantity which define the response of the medium. Okay, and that is why it is important, if you would like to characterize the materials, we need to define its permittivity and permittivity. Now, if you look at this division, you will be surprised to see that there is absolutely no material in the nature which come inside the third quadrant. Third quadrant means where you could have epsilon negative and mu negative. So absolutely there is no material at all in our nature which fall in this category. So this always give intuition, and this always give an inspiration to our scientists to work towards this field. But they were not able to get that material. There are few materials which falls in second quadrant or fourth quadrant. You can see from the diagram. Is it visible? So you can see that there are few materials which fall in the third and fourth quadrant, but absolutely there is no material in the nature which fall in the third quadrant. So this always this always attract the scientist. Why it is so, and what happen if we get such material? Okay. So what happened at there is a scientist named Vesaligo. I would like to give you a basic, little bit of story. What happened? The scientist named Vesaligo, he predicted a very strange thing. He gave a prediction. He says that we all know that refractive index is defined by a square root of mu and epsilon. So if we are having a quantity which fall in the first quadrant where your epsilon and mu is both is positive, then you are happy to have a refractive index positive. There is no problem. Okay, absolutely there is no problem. But what happens if you have a material which refractive index is negative, where both is negative, mu is negative, epsilon is negative? Now, if you have both negative, you can thought of the case where you can simply multiply this negative. Once again, you will get a positive quantity, and there will there will be no change in behavior. But he say we can do the same mathematics in different way. I could put two negative sign as a square, and I will get negative outside. So he says the refractive index could be positive and negative if we have both epsilon and mu negative. So he said, if we have this negative, then we will have a totally different physics out there. You see the left bottom side, one diagram is there. There you can see a incident wave is coming on a medium. At this when it try to enter in the second medium, it goes through diffraction. We all know from the basic of 10+2 Snell's law, right? I am not considering reflection at this point, but always there will be a reflection. But I am just considering the refraction. For a refraction, ordinary refraction for ordinary materials, you can see the right side, behavior, where you have the refraction angle positive. There is no negative refraction angle. But what he said that if you have negative refraction angle, according to the Snell's law, you will have negative refraction angle. Because if you remember the Snell's law, Snell says the mu1, right? Refraction index 1 into sine theta 1 is equal to refractive index 2 into sine theta 2. If you are having the negative value of refracting index, I can simply get that value inside the sign and I could get negative refraction angle. It shows that there is a possibility, and according to Veslev, I am quoting him. He said that if you are having that both negative, you will have negative refraction angle. Now look at this refractive negative refraction angle means if you plot a normal at the boundary, you see just about 10+2 physics. If you draw a normal here, you can see there is a negative angle, negative refraction angle, right? And the same thing I have drawn. I have taken a simple computer animation through you can visualize it. See, the upper one is the normal material which interact with the bottom one metamaterial, and you can see this the totally strange behavior. You see, you should note the two things. One is this negative refraction angle, and the another thing is the negative phase velocity. For visualize the phase velocity, you just try to give attention to the right side animation which is running right now. You can see through animation from upper side, it seems that wave is going forward and the phase is forward. But the bottom side, wave is going forward, but the phase is negative. Look at the difference. Now phase is negative. It is just similar to the moonwalk, where our famous dancer Michael Jackson used to move forward, but it gives apparent that he is moving forward, right? His motion was backward, but phase was forward. But in this case, if you can see the animation, here you can see your motion is forward, but the phase is backward. So that strange behavior you can achieve through the metamaterial. This is the in a story of 1967, and he predicted that you will be having that scenario. But unfortunately, there were no such material in the nature. There is no practical evidence of that, and so this thought was came and gone. Okay, people, okay, this could be a possibility, and okay, but there is no practical implementation. Because there is no practical implementation, there is no much work has been done on that during that period. So people move forward. Later on, I will discuss that in the coming slides. It comes true. His prediction comes true that during if you have a metamaterial, nowadays we are having practical metamaterial, and his prediction that the phase velocity becomes negative, the refraction angle becomes negative, comes very much true, and giving the exactly same animation which I am showing right now. So, as I discussed earlier, which I was discussing about little bit basic mathematics, that how do we achieve negative refraction angle? If you are having both mu and epsilon both negative, then I can put both negative as a square, and I could get negative sign outside. Okay, so it is just a particular case where I can achieve negative refractive index value. So this negative value, if you look at this in a simple glass straw experiment, if you put a glass, a half-filled glass water, half-filled glass, half-filled with water, if you put a straw there, you can see the right side diagram bottom will be apparently okay. This is we are familiar with that. Okay, we can do any time in this experiment. You can put if you put a straw in the half-filled glass of water, you can find out that scenario. But if you imagine the water is a metamaterial, what happened? That will give you totally different behavior. That the behavior becomes like that. You can see the strange behavior. We are not familiar with that, right? But you will be happy to hear that this picture is actually animated one, but we have able to achieve the metamaterial at particular frequency. Whichever I will discuss in the later slides. So let's try to get a little bit inside the practical applications. So the practical application of metamaterial is meta surface. We generate the surface of the metamaterial, and then we apply that surface for different applications. Just like any other material, like if you have any material like wood, any other material like any other material, you can make a surface of metamaterial. Okay, so just like any other surface, that it has the flatness, right? That property must be flatness. So with that surface, we can have different applications. So meta surface is nothing but the 2D counterpart of your metamaterial. Okay. So just like ADNR surface, you can imagine a surface of metamaterial. To just give you the meta surface. Now this meta surface has different applications. I can use this meta surface for observers, for AMCs, for gyro antennas, reflectors, scatterings. Nowadays the clockings, lot of things are there, which I will discuss in coming slides. But you can apply this meta surface for a lot of practical applications, and that is why these days it is very much famous. So as I said earlier, you can thought of just to have a meta surface, you have to just find out the property of normal surface of normal materials. So we all know from the basic of physics that the normal surface has particular arrangement of crystals or atoms, right? That must be in periodic, right? HPCC, lot of things we know, packing, lot of patterns we are having. So with that packings, it gives a particular periodic arrangement, right? So if you want to generate a meta surface, you must have something must be periodic. Second thing, I would like to extract the information from non-normal information is that surface, every surface is made up of a unit thing that we used to say atoms. So similarly, in the case of meta surface, we must need something which gives the unit. So here we say it is a unit cell or meta atoms. Second thing, in normal surfaces, the atoms are very small with compared to the total surface size, right? Similarly, on the meta surface is also the size must be very small. Now, one thing is very interesting here. If I say small or large, it is totally a subjective matter. For one person, a small could be 0.1 mm, but for another person, a small could be a 1 meter itself. So a person is working in the range of mm, he will say 0.1 mm, even if it is a large size. But if a person is working in the range of kilometer, 1 meter is nothing, right? So the size is totally subjective manner. One has to be, one has to take a particular unit. So for that purpose, in the case of meta surface, we always take the frequency at which you are working. So we take out that frequency. Obviously, if there is a frequency, we can easily find out its corresponding lambda. That lambda becomes unit for me. Now, if something is very small with compared to lambda, I would say it is very small. So when I'm using the word that unit cell is very small, basically I'm referring to lambda. With respect to lambda, basically it is very small. Okay. Now, little bit of I would like to give of basic of mathematics. Basically, there is a scientist in the year of 1940. Sorry, highest 1940 or in the last decade of 80th century, the two scientists, namely Lorentz and Drude, he worked very intensively on modeling the atoms. He found that he said that okay, if we are having atom, it has nuclei, it has the electron cloud. So what happens if we apply electric field? Obviously, due to the electric field, what will happen? The positive charge will get displaced and electric charge will get attracted, right? So that applied electric field must distort the the atom what we are having in normal scenario. Okay, so what happen if we start fluctuating the electric field? And as it is the case with the any wave, we all know that the wave what we are having in our nature is made of electric field and magnetic field. So the electric field in the wave is actually varying. We all know that the electric field is varying perpendicular to the direction of propagation of the wave. Similarly, magnetic field is also varying perpendicular to the direction of the propagation of electric fields. So if you go for solving the Maxwell equations, then you can find out the solution and it will give you clear picture of that. So need not to go in that mathematics of solving the wave equations and all. So I'm just taking out the basic thing is that if you apply the variable electric field of atoms, so in normal sense it says that okay, if electric field is varying, obviously the distortion will be this distortion of the atoms will be varying. Now you can imagine electric field is varying, and as so the distortion in atom is varying, electron cloud is disturbance is varying. Sometimes electric field is positive, next time electric field is changes direction and becomes negative. It leads into totally oscillation of electron cloud along with the nuclei. This oscillation he compared with the spring mass system, where you are having the spring which has its own natural frequency. There is the inertia of the electron has been termed as the mass, and with this oscillation there will be heating effect that lead into the discharge of energy that can be modeled as a damper. So he says that this oscillation I can simply model by a simple experiment of kinematics, where we are having a spring mass system with a damper. Okay, so with that analogy, he derived a simple basic second order differential equations. And if you dig out a little bit of mathematics, if you dig out his paper which I have given in reference, you can find out that he has ultimately gone from the resonance to the polarizability to next to the epsilon and reflected permittivity. Now, if I plot this, if you look at this form I have just drawn here, if you look at this, the final result which he proposed, the relative permittivity formula for that, he found out that there is a omega naught, which is the natural resonant frequency. The omega is the frequency at which you are working right now, and the omega p term, because he concluded all those terms which is at the numerator as a frequency. Sorry, the reason is, if you are having frequency terms with a square in numerator, obviously the frequency, if you are having frequency term in a denominator, obviously you must have the frequency term only at the numerator. So he termed that as a plasma frequency, because this is the frequency term. Now I will discuss the importance of plasma frequency in the very next slide, but let me discuss about little bit of the natural resonance frequency and how does it change the behavior of permittivity. So if you plot it, this permittivity with respect to frequency, you will observe that other than the natural frequency, its behavior is almost flat, but at resonance frequency, it gives the sudden abnormal behavior. Now this abnormal behavior, right, spark the scientist that, okay, if I able to achieve the resonance or its natural resonance frequency, I will achieve different permittivity and permittivity. And we are just discussing everything in terms of electric field, but equally applicable for magnetic field. You have to just replace the electric field by magnetic field and epsilon with the mu. So that inspired the scientist that if you want to tailor or if you want to change the electric behavior, or that would say permittivity, or you like to change the magnetic behavior or tailor the permeability, you have to use the resonance. By resonance, as I said earlier, as resonance, you always have the totally different behavior. So if someone want to achieve a material which fall into third quadrant, right now material lies in the first quadrant, I want to make him to sit in the third quadrant, leave your position from your first quadrant, come into the third quadrant, obviously you have to achieve the resonance, right? So it just like ordinary experiment. If you ask your friend to leave your position and go somewhere else, the very first thing has is you have to ask your friend to please stand up, right? Similarly, if I want to achieve my permittivity and permeability to fall into the third coordinate, I must ask my material to leave the property of your first coordinate, and that is why we are interested in the resonance, because at resonance the material change its behavior and leave its uh, natural property of constant permeability and permeability, and give a totally abnormal behavior at resonance. So now, as you see, there is a plasma frequency term. So if you look at the behavior of any material, this will give you uh, importance of your plasma frequency. So if you apply any wave of low frequency, the the material will be transparent. If you further increase, it becomes absorbance property will show. Then later on, it gives the reflection, and at plasma frequency above frequency, the frequency above the plasma frequency, it becomes once again transparent. So the plasma frequency will give you the frequency at which your material becomes transparent. And this is very much applicable. Look at the metal sheets. Metal sheets are very shining in the light. The reason is, apart from the skin depth property and the lossy nature of the metal in for electromagnetic waves, the plasma frequency of the metal sheets are very much less than higher than the light wave, and that is why the wave get reflected from the metal sheets. So here it is the history, as I said earlier. The West-Lego I have discussed earlier. In the year of 1968, he predicted something. Later on in the year 1996, the Pendry, the figure I have brought in the left side bottom, the Pendry, he was working on the experiment of bringing down the plasma frequency of any material, and indeed he ended up with discovery of metamaterial, and he is actually, I would say, the father of metamaterial. And later on the work has been forwarded by the Smith and Selby, right side figure. So these are the people, these are actually the inventor, I would say, of the metamaterials. So in the year 1996, you got the first experimental verification of negative permittivity. Later on 1999, negative permeability. In 2000, you are having the first experimental demonstration of left-handed, that means both negative permittivity and permeability. And now in 2001, by the Selby, you are having the proper negative reflecting index. So it is by and large, we just have passed 20 years down the line where we have achieved the metamaterial. So as I said earlier, in order to achieve the metamaterial property, you need to have electric resonance. The question is, how do we achieve the electric resonance? And the answer is very simple. You just take a wire, make it for in the range of lambda, it will give you the resonance property. Similarly, for magnetic resonance, give a circular shape resonating structures. So this led into the electric and magnetic resonance simultaneously, and once you are having electric and magnetic resonance simultaneously, it will lead into there is a chance of that you will achieve the metamaterial, and that is exactly what happened by the Selby in the 2000 year one. He has achieved, he has demonstrated the practically metamaterial. See the diagram, bottom side, right side, that the upper one is the simulated one and the bottom one the fabricated one. It is another issue that the upper one is the square shape with the circular shape, but he achieved that metamaterial property with this experiment. So although it not seems to be any kind of surface structure, it seems to be 3D. But if you see from large distance, it gives you surface property. The minute difference will be not visible, and it looks like a surface from the top large distance, and that is why it is termed as a metamaterial. So now let's get into the application of metamaterials. So this metamaterials has very much interesting applications. One of the very interesting application is clocking. So you can remember, especially my students, You can remember the movie Mr. India, the old movie where the Neil Kapoor hero used to becomes invisible by pressing a simple button on his head. He has a watch. He used to press a button and he becomes invisible. Now, and a similar story has been taken care is shown in the movie Hollow Man in Hollywood, where there also he injected a material injection and by which he becomes invisible. The same thing you can achieve, and people have able to achieve using the property of metamaterial at particular frequency. At particular frequency, people have achieved the invisibility that is termed as clocking in the scientific domain. So people has achieved this invisibility at a particular frequency. It is the matter of time when people will come up with a device which will give you the invisibility in a visible spectrum. Once it is giving you the invisibility in a visible spectrum, you can make things invisible. So this is the totally innovative things which we have people are working these days, and they are also the use of meta surface and metamaterials are there, and due to that property only it has been achieved. This has been achieved at particular frequency. Let's see, the time will come and one of you will work on the topic and you can achieve IBIS at for clocking for a particular band of a spectrum. The second thing, the second property is very interesting is the perfect lens. These days, people are restricted with the convex and concave lens that their images are opposite in phase. Second thing, they cannot zoom at after particular level. But the perfect lens, because it has increasing the enhancement mode of transmission rather than the decaying enhancement mode of transmission, it lead into the lens which will give you very positive phase along with the very fine resolution which has been not achieved till this, even not by electron microscope. So let's see, the future is very bright in the domain also. The second thing is the phase compensator. Look around, if you are having a light source, a bulb, you can imagine the wave front coming out from the bulb is always a circular in nature, right? Now, if you treat that bulb as a radar source, which is generating the electromagnetic wave, radar always need the flatness so that the wave reflected from the enemy fighter plane do not give the false size and must give the exact size as well as the position. With the curve wave front, it is not going to give you the exact. It might be the position is you can give the exact, but the size and shape is very hard to detect. There, the use of meta surface is very much helpful these days, and we are able to achieve very much property on how with this meta surface we are able to achieve a flat wave front, and thereby your radar is going to detect the shape of the fighter plane also. So this field is very much also very much burning field, and people are now working those sides also. The second, the another topic of emerging this day is the antenna. In antenna, if we look at the normal horn antenna, we all know that the normal horn antennas are directional in properties. Although, even though it is directional properties, it has a back lobe. I mean, back lobe, for just to give you a brief things, that back lobes are the unwanted signals which has been transmitted towards the back side, not the intended side of transmission. So it is always it is always desired to have less number of back lobes. So and side lobes. That has been achieved if you use the meta surface inside the horn wall. You can achieve the increased gain as well as reduction in the back lobe. Basically, you are achieving better gain because of the reduction in the side lobe. That energy has been once again focused towards the front side and lead into the increase in the gain. Now that is why the meta horn we say, and meta antenna based on metamaterials is very much applicable. Now second thing I would like to brought here itself is the jet-over antenna application. The jet-over antenna is the one of the application of metamaterial where you are having the totally dipole type resonance or dipole type radiation pattern. I hope everyone belongs to the ECE side, so you will able to understand these things. That if you look at the dipole antenna, normal dipole antenna, it gives you the radiation pattern of pure apple shape. But if you look at the simple patch antenna, it will give you the direction properties. You will never able to achieve the apple shape radiation pattern with the help of your any patch antenna. And that is why if you look around your routers or Wi-Fi routers or access points, those routers are still come up with your dipole antenna, long wires, which lead into the large size of overall routers. So Wi-Fi routers I'm talking about. So that is how do we achieve the can we have any mechanism by which we can replace that dipole antenna, we can place that patch antenna. So that has been successfully done in IIIT Bhagalpur by developing the jet-over antenna. And you will be happy to hear that your Chetan, one of your colleague Chetan is working the demo also. Second thing is the metamaterial observer. The metamaterial observer is the basically by name itself you can guess its property. It is observer. Observer means it observes the electromagnetic wave. Remember the stealth plane. Your fighter planes nowadays we are having a stealth plane. The stealth plane has property that it observes the incident wave coming from the radars, and that is why it is not visible to the radars. So that has been achieved in a greater efficiency by metamaterials, and that is why it is termed as metamaterial observers. So in this presentation, I will give more concentration towards your jet-over and metamaterial observers. So to work in this microwave domain, I would like to introduce the two softwares which are very much famous in these days. One is CST and another is ANSYS HFSS. There are other software like FECO and Tarang. Tarang is the Indian developed, but it is still in the development phase. I would not say it is totally matured one, but the CST and ANSYS are both matured commercially available softwares. Even it is not cost much, you can even find out crack also, but you have to use these softwares to simulate the structures, and we have at IIIT Bhagalpur introduced these softwares in the curriculum of the BTech itself, so that the students come pass out from the IIIT Bhagalpur will have a little bit of flavor of the microwave. So these are the simulation which have been done at IIIT Bhagalpur by the students of IIIT Bhagalpur only. So like that, you can convince your students to work in this domain. You can provide them the software. You can teach them, and so that they can work in this field. So this is the simulation of simple E-plenty and S-plenty. So here I am working in the NIX chamber. Basically, to test that any antenna devices, you need to have any chambers where you can see the blue structures, right? These are the nothing but observers placed all around the walls. Basically, NIX chamber used to suppress the noises or make it constant, so that the measurement becomes very much accurate. And you need to have a VNA for the same purpose to measure it. To network parameter, you need a vector network analyzer. So this is the ANSYS, and here I am working in the NIX chamber. So let's try to analyze the metamaterial in terms of transmission line with the help of the basic transmission line. So we all know that the basic transmission lines are can be modeled with the help of simple R, L, and GC, where resistance, inductance, conductance, and capacitance are used. These are the parameters. We all know that we can model any transmission line using these 4 parameters. Now, if you look at the lossless transmission line, if you imagine that your transmission line is very much lossless, what we are actually trying to do is we are trying to model the any transmission line which is made of metamaterial, so that we can extract few information and we can apply that information for practical application. I will show you how does we have achieved a structure by reducing this basic simple concept of transmission line. So if you look at this top figure, it is say the basic right-handed transmission line structure. Right-handed means, remember the first coordinate material. We term them it is right-handed because both is positive. The third coordinate material which has both negative, mu and epsilon negative, is termed as left-handed material, and that is why because it has totally opposite nature to the right-handed material, and that is why it is termed as left-handed material. Where both mu and epsilon is negative. So what we have modeled here is in the left side, you see the right-handed transmission line where you are having the lossless case where R and G is 0, because we are considering the case where transmission line is totally lossless. So for the state, if the transmission line is lossless, you can see you are having the inductance in series and the capacitance in parallel, right? Because if R and 0, G is 0, then you becomes have L and C. Now, what happen if we replace these two with each other? I mean to say, if we brought C capacitance in series and inductance in parallel, what will happen? That was the thought all about. People come to know that okay, if it is right-handed transmission line, then you are having series inductance and parallel capacitance. Then what will happen if we have series capacitance and parallel inductance? To analyze that, they start deriving basic things. They draw the beta versus frequency diagram for a right-handed case, and they come to know that in this case where your inductance is series and capacitance in parallel, because see, for your right-handed cases, you are having from basic transmission line capacitance in parallel and inductance in series. That is exactly has been taken for purely right-handed transmission line, where here having the series inductance in series and capacitance in parallel. You see the diagram. From the diagram, you see the beta has positive value, right? From the and it is the another important thing is that it is directly proportional to the omega. You not to go into the solving the transmission line equations just like a wave equation. Then you will get a second order differential equation. Then you will get the forward wave and backward wave. Then you, once again you have to break out that e to power gamma is alpha plus j beta. Then you have to take the j beta as a expression. So I'm not going there. You just I have brought out the last expression. So you see it is beta is directly proportional to the omega. Now, if you do the same analysis for the left hand transmission line, so for the left hand transmission line, it is just opposite to the what we are having for right hand. In the right hand, we used to have inductance in series and capacitance in parallel, but you look at carefully here, in the left hand case, you are having the capacitance in series and inductance is parallel. Then you will observe very strange thing. You will observe beta is negative, first thing. Second thing, omega is inversely proportional to the beta. Now, people start modeling the purely left-hand transmission line. So, if you try to achieve the purely left-hand transmission line, what is the concept you need to utilize? The concept is very simple. You just bring out a capacitance in series and inductance in parallel. So, to achieve that, they start sorting the. So let's say, for example, you are having in a microstrip line, you are having in your head. Microstrip line, remember in microwave, you are having a type of transmission line where you are having a copper, a small width copper plate is there. and that has just a minute. Yeah, that has gone through and it carries the electromagnetic wave. So if you look at this simple strip line example, you have to, if you want to place a capacitance, you have to each out such a surface so that you can give the capacitive behavior, and you have to just give the sorting to achieve the inductive behavior. Now, if you try to do that, what will happen is that although you do not want to have the parasitic capacitance and parasitic inductance, but it will get introduced because if you brought any two wires close to each other, sufficiently close to each other, it will form a capacitive nature and that lead into the parasitic capacitance. So although your intention was to have a very purely left-hand transmission line, but you will always practically end up with the some composite type things. Composite things means because you wanted to have a purely left side transmission line like this nature, you wanted to have pure left hand transmission line, but you will end up with a composite type structure. Composite means you have to brought the both the types of property. I mean to say L and H both in this series, and LH and L and C both in the parallel also. So this led into the composite right hand left hand transmission line. Remember, we do not want to have a composite. We want to have purely left hand transmission line. So the left hand might be dominating, but because of the parasitic nature, you are practically having the composite thing. So it's better to analyze the composite thing. So if you are having composite, obviously the diagram of beta plus frequency must be combined to each other because you have to combine the circuit. We are going to combine the left hand purely right hand transmission line circuit and with the purely left hand transmission line circuit. Then obviously the graph what you would get will be the combination of both these two graphs. So look at this. This is the for right side I am talking about. The right side graph is, you can see omega versus beta diagram. It is for your purely right hand transmission line. This is for your purely left hand transmission line. So obviously, if I combine these two, will give the graph for your omega versus beta of composite structure. Now, if you look at this diagram, one thing you can notice is that there is a point where beta could be negative, right? So see, this is right side is for right hand, left side is purely left hand side. So here you can see the diagram for purely right hand transmission line. This red side is for composite one. For the composite one, you are having the property of both right hand and left hand transmission line, and that is why you will be able to achieve a point where having beta 0 at a particular frequency, you will able to achieve where you are having beta 0. Now beta 0, why I am giving more stress is that from our basic things we know that beta is nothing but 2 pi by lambda. So 2 pi by lambda where beta is 0 means your lambda is infinity, right? Now I have not noted down here, but you can just thought of that because the diagram at a particular point you are having the point is having where you are having beta is 0. Now beta is 0 means beta is actually defined by 2 pi by lambda. So lambda is infinity, am I right? So if lambda is infinity, that means at particular frequency the system is behaving in such a manner that it gives apparently beta infinity, just like ideal op-amp has infinite gain, although it has the finite value, but with respect to input voltage it gives the infinite gain. Similarly here it gives the infinite lambda. So there we used to have the virtual sorting concept in the op-amp circuits. Here we can thought of the lambda is insignificant, then you want to have a resonance, because remember before that we say that for having any resonance we have the things which must be in the comparison of lambda by 2, lambda by 4 quarter wave transformer, I mean quarter wavelength antenna, lambda size antenna. So these sizes are very much useful for normal antennas. But in the case of metamaterial, you can have antenna which is totally independent of lambda. Now it's a totally strange thing, right? which is not true for normal material antenna. So from this and basic analysis, we come to know that if we able to achieve a composite structure, there is a possibility that you can able to achieve antenna which is very much independent of your lambda. And once it is very much independent of lambda, you can shrink the size of your antenna to an extent which is not till date achievable. Nowadays, people has achieved 60% reduction of the size, even 70% reduction of size for your antenna. So look at this basic antenna theory. We know if you want why does antenna required. If you want to have a communication between two persons which is sitting next to each other, you can have a simple verbal communication. Your simple voice communication is very much enough. But if you want to have a communication just like what we are having right now, I must need to transmit my signal through some element. That element is termed as antenna. Antenna is something which convert your electromagnetic information signal, your convert into any information into a electromagnetic wave. That quantity is known as antenna. So in one line we can say antenna is nothing but a thing which can convert any signal into its electromagnetic counterpart. So if you look at around you, you can find very much application of your microwave. Like if you look at around, like just like a fighter plane, antenna is very much applicable everywhere. Not even on these days with the development of IoT. Now you are going to place your antenna in printers, in devices, in cars, everywhere it is going to be placed, right? And that is why it is always desired to have a less size antenna, right? So just like I told you the previous example of your MIMO antenna, the router systems. You see the routers where you are having 3 and 4 dipole antennas placed. This makes the overall profile or overall size of routers larger. So it can be reduced. Your size of this router can be reduced if you remove this dipole antenna and placed your latest JDOR antenna. So one of the antenna, this is the actually developed by your colleague or your friend Chetan Bade. You see this antenna is developed by him only. So look at this antenna. This has a capacitive gap because I want to place a capacitor in the series and a parallel. This is the series capacitance, and to brought in parallel inductance, there is a 2 sorting elements. These 2 sortings, you can see there are 2 holes are made there. So these are the sorting elements. So this makes antenna a JDOR antenna. The beauty of this antenna is that it gives you the radiation pattern of exactly the dipole antenna. So the advantage which brought here, this JDOR antenna brought here is you are now having the same radiation type of pattern but less in size, compact in nature. So in the coming future, you will see that the router giving you the same MIMO properties, but do not have any this kind of antenna. So in the near future, you will observe that. So this has been achieved because of the resonance and of JDOR. This has been achieved because of the composite what we have achieved. So this basic concept of JDOR or composite resonance, which I have discussed in the transmission line earlier, has been useful to derive this antenna, JDOR antenna, and very much useful. So if you look at this advantage which brought here, the JDOR antenna brings is that the very much advantage, basic thing is that the one thing is the reduction in size, and the second thing is the the radiation pattern. These 2 things makes JDOR antenna very much applicable. Now, in the very near future, you can see you are going to utilize JDOR antenna in your mobile phones Nowadays you are using the PFA antenna, and in the near future you will observe that your same Jodar antenna is going to use in your mobile phones, because it gives the better gain as well as the better radiation pattern. And these are the few antenna, and this is the measurement setup of the antenna. These are the another type of Jodar antenna. See, this is the totally radiation pattern is the apple shape. So again, these are the few of shapes, or this already is published. So these are the few Jodar antennas. So with this, basics of Jodar antenna, let's enter into the observers. So as I stated earlier, I will discuss two applications of metamaterials. One application was the JDOR, and this is the another applications. So the another application is the observers. So I'd just like to give you the little bit of historical overview of observer, because our renowned scientist Sir J.C. Bose has used this observer material in their device of oscillating tube to reduce the unwanted reflections which was occurring in their machines oscillating tube, because he developed the oscillator tube, and that tube was giving some abnormal behavior because of the metal casing. So he brought a kind of material and placed inside that casing so that it should work properly. So that was the first work, I would say, in our India. Later on, that observer has been very much useful that in the Second World War, and progressively in the year 1960s. So the one of the observer which is very much famous is I would first discuss about the conventional type of observers. So if you look at the conventional types of observers, I can say there are two basic categories. One is the multi-layer type, and another is some observers made up of dielectric materials. So look at this for multi-layers observers. You see, it is derived by simple stacking of different kind of materials. But if you look at the other type, that is the pyramidal type structures observers, see these pyramidal type of observers are very much famous for anionic chamber applications. So this has advantage that it gives you the broadband absorption, but the drawback is that it is very fragile, right? And for to give you, to show you the application of observer, I would like to share you one thing which I come to know through the DRDO Pune lab. Basically, the India purchased the Rafale fighter plane, right? The Rafale fighter plane comes with a lot of host of new technology. Among them was the stealth technology, the stealth coating. The France was not ready to share this technology with any cost. He said they said that okay, I can share all those technology except this the stealth coating technology. So the current scenario is that they have the fighter plane will be in air for a certain period of time. Later on, it will be shipped to the France for that particular coating. And India is in a talk with the France that so that they can brought their system here itself with their cost. So the main and machine will be them of the France. They will bring all those things that will be shared with the Indian persons. They will be bring their own man. They will bring their own machines. They will bring all their materials, and they will put here. So that much of precious things. Even your US is although you all know that Japan is very much and UK is very much close to the US, but still the US is not ready to share this stealth technology with the Japan and UK. So by that examples, you can understand the importance of these observers. So one thing I would like to again share here, the IIIT Bhagalpur, we are working on this domain with the collaboration of DRDO Pune lab. So we are actively working on that topics, this field, and in the near future, the coming fighter plane like AMC and LCA Tejas, these two is going to use the observers which will be developed by ourselves. So the basic principle observer, you all know that it is purpose to observe the materials. The observer purpose is nothing to just observe the any incident wave. So I would like to try to enter in the metamaterial observer. Metamaterial observer is basically 3-layer structures. The bottom side, bottom is always a copper. The second layer will be a dielectric material, and the top most layer will be a resonating structure. With these three arrangement, you are able to achieve the metamaterial observer. So we all know that if there is a metal blocking, the microwave is not going to cross this system. So with this structure, I can say this S21 becomes 0. This is the S parameter of microwave. So this incident wave, this is the reflected wave. You can see the diagram. There S11 written, S11 shows the reflected wave, S21 shows the transmitted wave. So as there is a metal blocking, there will not be any transmission. So there is only reflection is possibility. So now I can measure the absorption behavior of the whole system by just measuring the reflected wave. So here is the diagram of view of the diagram of the conventional observers and the metamaterial observers. So we at the IIIT Bhagalpur have worked on the multi-layer observers as well as the metamaterial observers. So we are also working on the multi-layer observers where you are stacking different materials, and we are also working on the metamaterial observers. So these are the few of the diagram which I will show you in the coming slide also, which have been developed by ourselves at the IIIT Bhagalpur. Now let's have a small discussion about the multi-layer observer. So we all know multi-layer by name itself, where you are stacking different materials with different thickness one over to another to form a multi-layer observer. Now this multi-layer observer, if you look at this, makes a optimization problem. You can treat this synthesis of multi-layer observer as a problem of optimization, because you need to find out the correct material with its correct thickness and along with its correct position. With this, we have come up with this, I will show you some few of the results in coming slides. So this makes a optimization problem. Now get back to the metamaterial observer. If you know the working principle of any metamaterial observer is that when wave get inside on the surface of metamaterial, it just observe. So this is possible only and only if there is no reflection from the surface of the metamaterial. So if there is no reflection, this is the impedance of the wave in terms of wave of a metamaterial observer. So this is the basic formula of the electromagnetic theory. We can note it down. So if I apply this basic formula, it says that this Z omega is equal to eta naught only and only if when the complex quantity becomes cancelled to each other. So if this complex quantity is cancelled to each other, means they are separately must be equal to each other. That means the real part of mu must be equal to each other. Imaginary part of epsilon must be equal to each other. Now with this formula, you must get an intuitive idea that why we are interested in metamaterial. Because to design the metamaterial observer, we are tweaking this epsilon mu such a way that at the observation band, these two becomes equals. Once these two becomes equal, we get inside that and get observed by the system. So to designing the metamaterial or to design the meta surfaces, people have come up with the different structures going by the basic structure developed by the Landy, then flower shape, some Eastern point shape, some square shape, lot of things they have drawn. But every structures has been drawn by mostly by hit and trial method. There is no mathematical much proof of that. So it is very hard to design that, because you look at around the flower shape structure, left side top figure, this is the flower shape structure. So it is very hard to derive a mathematical formula for them. You can have a mathematical formula for basic structure like a square shape, but although it will give you very much complexity. So by and large, it is very difficult to achieve these structures. So I will show you how do we achieve overcome this problem. But with the same token here, with the same technology, by using the hit and trial, we at IIIT Bhagalpur have developed this observers. I would show you some few of the results. Oh, see, this is the observer for X band. You see the graph. It shows the complete absorption ranges from 6 to 12 gigahertz, which actually covers little bit of C band along with complete and X band. So this lead into application of radars, where mostly radars are basically works in the X band domain. Now radars are also having for L band domain also. Now Russia has developed for that, but mostly radars are working in X band domain. So you can see this is working very fine for X band applications. So to analyze this property of absorption, we have derived uses this theory few formula like transform relationships and other things, which lead into analysis of this absorption. As I said earlier, the impedance must be 1. Impedance must be eta naught. If impedance is eta naught, its normalized value must be 1, right? So in the absorption band, you see the graph, it is nearly equal to 1, although it is not exactly 1, but it is nearly equal to 1, and the imaginary part is nearly equal to 0. And that is why if you see in approximate term, it is almost equal to 1 in this range of absorption band, because this quantity is the real part plus j into the imaginary part. As it is 0, imaginary part is 0. So see, this the real part is 1, and that is why it shows the absorption. Later on, we further analyze in terms of effective parameters, that is mu and epsilon. You see the epsilon, both are this quantity, the real quantity are near very much close to each other in during absorption band. You see the diagram, both these quantities are very much close to each other during the absorption band. Second thing, we have also analyzed its the surface current density. You see the surface current density, it gives the top and bottom current in reverse direction. So this leads into the conduction, displacement, and conduction current, and once again the displacement current, that will lead into the complete cycle. So these are the basically analysis of how does absorption takes place. And look at this. This is the fabricated model which we have fabricated. Look at the important point is to note here is what we have simulated. We have simulated is the unit cell. As remembered in the first slide, name the metamaterial. While we'll discuss the metamaterials, this name it is something need to be periodic in nature, right? Meta atoms. We say the unit cell must be periodic in nature, just like any other surface. So with the help of this property, here we have derived we have designed this unit cell, and this unit cell we have fabricated in periodic manner. Look at this complete sheet. This is a sheet, and this sheet can be placed in fighter plane or tanks or anywhere up to your military or civil applications. There you want to reduce your RCS values, and see this is the unit cell, and this is your fabricated model. So once again we have gone for periodic arrangement. This is the 2D periodic arrangement of your unit cell. So this is the measurement setup, but I have shown you earlier. and this is the measurement values. This shows the conventional values, conventional observers. Now, time is restricted, but I would like to show you basic things that how do we are designing different observers as. Okay. So, to just conclude, before concluding, I would like to show you one thing that you can use the soft computing approach to design these observers. So I have brought a lot of things, but okay, in near future we will discuss that. So these are for your future purpose. I am leaving it, so you can. So here we are using the soft computing approach to solve this problem, and we are designing different observers. Look at this, using the selected technology. We are designing different observers. Look at this, lot of observers we have designed for different applications. So you see the fabricated models. These are the fabricated models designed using the soft computing approach, and so I'm showing these results so that this should give encouragement and attract our friends to work in this domain. So with the time constraint, I'm concluding. So I have these are the few of the publications. These are one of the patent I have just filed, and another patent on the verge of publications, and one another patent I'm going to file. Another thing I would like to share about the journals, we are having one of the nature applications very recently we have, and other thing is these are the 5 and 6 essay journals. Then we are having some Scopus journals. Then we are having conferences. So total 10 publications we are having with respect of essay and Scopus. Then we are having conferences, and some book chapters are also there. So with this, I am just concluding. I wish I would have much time, but okay. I wish next time I will ask my friend over in the Truba to come and work in this domain, have a collaborative work, come and do your PhD here. You all are welcome. This is your next home I would say. And for me also, because I have been listening to so much time that every time I said earlier, so many friends are coming from there to join PhD at NIT Jamshedpur. Now on the same, I would like to I wish the same traditions to continue at IIIT Bhagalpur also. So hereby I am inviting all of you to come and join us, do your PhD if you are not having PhD right now in IIIT Bhagalpur, at IIIT Bhagalpur. You will find out this is just like a home, just like a Truba. You will know this IIIT Bhagalpur will be next to your home. So with this word, thank you for listening me. Thank you for giving me opportunity. And I wish I would get a chance to visit your campus because I have heard so much things about Truba. You need not to visit your campus. If you just leave me anywhere, I will be able to tell you this block will be your library, this is your things, this is that things. So that much I am familiar, that much I have listened about it, Truba. So I know this is a very good college. So very all the best. So and one more thing, coming this semester also, few of my relatives is going to join Truba. So that much, that much confidence I am having with the Truba, that much intimacy I am having with these Truba institutions, and that much I know that this Truba is implementing, not only the technology but grooming the students in all respect. So that is why I'm going to put my 2 and 3 total my relatives going to join there. So thank you once again, and I just welcoming all. I would like to welcome all of you to come here, find this IIIT Bhagalpur next to your home. Thank you. Over to you, Abhishek.
Thank you, sir. And you will be most welcome to visit our institute. The link for the feedback form is posted in the chat box. All the participants are requested to give their valuable feedback regarding the session. The certificate will be sent to you through your registered email ID. I would like to thank Dr. Prakash Ranjan for a great knowledgeable session.
Just a minute, Abhishek. Next,
Yes,
Abhishek, if anybody has any question, I am just, I will be happy to reply. If anybody has any question, please raise your question. I will be happy to answer the question. I forgot to mention that. Before we conclude this session, if anybody has any question, please raise your question. I will be happy to answer that.
If anybody has any question, please unmute yourself and ask the question. You can also post it in the chat box.
Yes. Most welcome. Okay, Abhishek, then proceed then. Over to you, Abhishek. Over to you, Abhishek. Thank you, Neha, ma'am. And thank you, Abhishek.
I would like to thank Dr. Prakash Ranjan for great knowledgeable session. I would also like to thank TechCube3 coordinator Dr. S.C. Chobe sir to provide us the opportunity to conduct this webinar. I would like to thank Shri Shyam Rathore sir for his continuous motivation and support he provided to enhance the knowledge of our faculty members and students. I would like to thank Dr. Rajiv Arya sir, Director Truva Group of Institute, for his continuous support in the continuation of the event. Also, I would like to thank Professor Meha Srivastav, Head of the Department Electronics and Communication and Coordinator of today's event, and Professor Rajesh Sharma, Co-Coordinator of today's event, for their effort for making the program success. I would like to thank our participants for their support. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you, Prakash.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. The feedback link is posted in the chat box. The feedback link is posted in the chat box. Please do fill the feedback.